better. Hello, folks. Welcome to the Don's channel. I am the Don Father. I'm quickly going to talk about the footy so far from round 7, Thursday the 16th of the 7th, 2020. Geelong versus Collingwood at the Optus Stadium in Western Australia. Of course, this was played in front of about 23,000 fans on Thursday night, which was fantastic to see. Geelong, who had tipped, fell short, losing 35-57 to Collingwood. That's a good win for Collingwood, actually, because Geelong going into this were actually playing some pretty decent stuff, to say the least. 3 wins in a row was their form going into that game, but again, quite a low-scoring game involving... How's it going, mate? Go Pies. Yep, Collingwood's managed to win there, so that's another win for Collingwood. They've needed that, to be honest. Obviously, that's 2 wins in a row now. Must update this quickly because I never actually updated it. I've updated the scores and everything, but I've not actually updated the form. So 2 wins in a row, 2 losses before that, and then the win in the draw, and obviously the win in round 1. Essendon Bulldogs there on Friday. I was actually surprised at how big a scoreline the Bulldogs managed to rack up there. Quite a convincing win from the Bulldogs in the end. It finished 93-51 at the Metricon. Tim English was phenomenal. Really enjoyed him. I think he was one of those players last year. You knew there was something in there. He's got a similar kind of shape to Brodie Grundy, kind of long and slim. Hi, Mark. How are you? Kind of long and slim and tall. It doesn't look the strongest, but he actually is quite a physical player. He's managed to chip in with a couple of goals as well, which I was happy enough for him, but his stats were phenomenal there. I think in the fantasy football, they said he's scored the highest points so far in 1 game. So Tim English, well done to him. Bailey Smith, who I love watching anyway. I think I was actually talking to Dylan, a friend of mine from doing the channel, and he was actually making a point of saying actually the Bulldogs midfield is a very, very good midfield. And it really is a good midfield when you look at the quality across it. I look at McRae and I call him Mr. Consistency. There was maybe a period so far in 2020 where you could argue against that, but predominantly in 2019 he was always racking up 30 plus disposals in a game, and he was bang on it again yesterday. I can't remember just off the top of my head how many disposals he managed. I think it was 26 or 27, but he really is a big player. Obviously Bontempelli as well. The doggies are out of the pound mark, absolutely. So look, you've got, let me see, Crows versus St Kilda's a very, very last game on Sunday, so I'll be looking forward to that one, actually. St Kilda's playing really nice stuff. I'm actually expecting a big scoreline from St Kilda. I know they got beat last week, but regardless of that, they've got so many players there that I'm enjoying watching. They can really hurt you. The way they play is quite enjoyable to watch. They don't mess about and going forward. Very quick on the counter-attack, very quick on the break, and as I said, players that can hurt you. I enjoy watching them. So Bulldogs ran out anyway, Friday night against Essendon, 93-51. I was actually, if you were looking at it at a neutral point of view, quite disappointed in Essendon's performance, to be honest. It was kind of like Bulldogs last week against Carlton. Really disappointing. They were flat. They threatened at times, I think. They huffed and they puffed a little bit, Essendon, but the doggies were so strong on the day. They've needed that. They've needed to get the percentages up. They've needed a good convincing one, and finally it's came. That's 4 wins now for the doggies out of 7 games, so it's not too bad. It's actually not too bad. It's probably about a little bit better than average so far in 2020, so they're keeping themselves up there in the mix, and I'm happy with that. On to probably one of the biggest games on paper this weekend, Giants versus Lions. 2 teams, very big teams, from 2019. I did predict the Lions victory at the Giants Stadium, and I wasn't wrong. It was a very, very good game of footy, this. Too many players to mention individually. Charlie Cameron, top of the Coleman again, I think, after this. Is he the best? After that game, yes, he was top of the Coleman. But I think Papley's bounced back again and rekindled his top spot. So really good race going on between those two. Both of them, ironically, are small forwards. So I'll let other people debate who is the better small forward out of the two. If you'd asked me that in 2019, I'd probably said Cameron. But right now, 2020 form, I'm struggling to see past Papley. He was a player I loved last year as well. But I'm actually struggling to see past Papley right now for the best small forward in the game. Arguably the best forward right now in current form. So really, really enjoying watching him. But anyway, Lions ran out, won by a 20-point margin at the Giants Stadium. Really good for them. That's 2 losses back-to-back now for the Giants. They're not actually doing too well, are they? I haven't updated my ladder, but I believe the Lions are sitting back in second spot. 88, 68. Good. So many, as I said, just so many players today perform for both teams, actually. Really good game of footy, good honest game of footy. Both teams tried to play good attacking stuff. And I enjoyed watching it. I watched some of the Swans Gold Coast Suns game, just some of it, but I had to go and do a run down to the post office before it's only open for small hours on a Saturday, so I had to nip down and post some items to Australia that I'd sent people as gifts for being patrons, etc. of the channel. So that's why I missed some of this game. But Gold Coast Suns, let me tell you, from what I did see, they are absolutely a revelation in 2020. It's actually missing the Gold Coast Suns, who have actually jumped up, I believe, from what I looked at. I think they're in 5th. I could be wrong in saying that after the Richmond game. I honestly don't know. But the Gold Coast Suns magnet, my daughter was playing with it downstairs. I think it might have fell down inside the back of it, down the sofa and into inside the sofa. So that's where I think it is anyway. But that gap is the Gold Coast Suns. That's not been updated in terms of position. So Gold Coast Suns for the flag this year. I'll tell you something, right? I don't think they will do it, but why not? Why not? I mean, 2020 has threw up so many upsets already. The obvious situation with COVID-19 with the shortened season, hubs being everywhere, people having to players having to up sticks with their families, the whole uncertainty of from one week to the next. And I'll tell you something, with Gold Coast Suns probably going to be playing majority home games now with the Queensland hub. A lot of games being played there. It's looking good for them. They'll get some home crowd there. I know they don't have a huge support, but they'll get some home crowd there. I think a lot of people's enjoying watching them, as am I. Really, really enjoying the Gold Coast Suns to watch, actually. This was an absolutely phenomenal victory, actually. And Swans did play well at times. But as I've said, 92-60. A 32-point margin for the Gold Coast Suns. Really impressive. Obviously, it's Isaac Rankin. They're all creaming over him. He's a player I'm enjoying watching. Matt Rowell's been a huge... There's a game on Monday. Is that the start of round 8 or is that the end of round 7? Has it been moved? I've not actually seen that. Rankin is absolutely incredible. Great player. Really good to see somebody stepping up, because I think everybody thought, oh, that'll be the wheels fall off Gold Coast Suns. Going into this one, they actually lost 2. So I was starting to think, the wheels are normality is gonna resume for the Gold Coast Suns. So I tipped the Swans. And see, to be fair, the Swans are only a little bit better than the Crows this year. They definitely missed that outball on Buddy Franklin. A lot of people have been saying over the course of the last year that I've been doing the footy that Buddy Franklin's done. But what Buddy Franklin gives the Swans is a little bit of height. He's an excellent kicker for goal. There's no doubt about that. He's only about 50 or 60 goals shy of 1,000 career goals. So to actually not have that option in your team, you've got Reedy up there as well as another big forward for them. So they're missing 2 tall forwards and they're having to rely so heavily on Papley, who's actually doing a phenomenal job. But when you need something different, they just don't have the answers. And it's quite concerning for the Swans fans, because I actually don't see anything in that team right now other than Papley that I'm enjoying watching, to be brutally honest. I don't think Blakey's had the season I wanted him to have, or I think anybody might have predicted he would have had. So he's been, for me, he's probably statistically doing okay. I don't know, I've not checked up. But I would have thought he'd have been right bang up there with the best in the business right now this year. And for me, he hasn't. Boss baby's eating it. I'm 3 of 5 as well, Cardman, mate. 3 out of 5. It was the Geelong. I put Geelong down for the win. Collingwood got the win. Very sort of low scoring, tight game again there. Not an enjoyable game to watch, really, is it? And who else? The Swans, as I've just mentioned. So 92-60 at the Gold Coast. That's really, really happy for them. A couple of young players in there that are just going to be really, really good if they can keep up this form. You never know. If they can get a couple of decent players in next year, maintain who they've got, maybe bring a senior player in, another senior player or two. Why not for a flag eventually? It's going that way anyway with the help from the AFL. I think the AFL is committing a lot more time and money into the Gold Coast Suns. And it's probably only a matter of time before they eventually get a flag, isn't it? That might annoy people, but as long as they're playing a nice brand of footy as a neutral, I'm quite enjoying watching them. So on to the last game today, which was Richmond versus North. Only seen some of it. But Richmond back to winning ways again, 77-23 in North Melbourne. Do you know something? That there, so we've put that down, put the one down here because I never updated that there. That's 5 losses for North in a row. That's shocking form. Really, really poor form. Richmond with 3 wins in a row now. So you'd imagine they're going to start climbing the ladder. That's quite did you know Ben's brown neck broke in the game against Richmond? I did not, mate. That is absolutely horrendous. Toys, man, the wheels already fell off where Stuart Dew jumped in. Are you not a fan? Any Swans fans here right now? What's your thoughts on Sydney Swans right now? Because a lot like North, kind of similar in terms of players' ability, in my opinion. What's your thoughts on Swans? Have you been disappointed? Of course, they're sitting, second bottom maybe right now. 23 points, the lowest score from North Melbourne. North Melbourne started off, was it round 2 or 3, got the win, and I was thinking, well done to them. And you're kind of hoping that they would give their fans something, but they haven't managed to do that whatsoever since, with the 5 straight defeats. So up on Sunday anyway, we've got I think this will be quite a good game after Carlton's absolute smashing of the Bulldogs, which was obviously disappointing for me, but for Carlton fans, that's 3 wins now from 6 for them. Obviously, they lost a week before that. But poor Adelaide are on a mighty run, only losing 1 game out of the 6 rounds so far. 5 wins, 20 points. They'll be looking to get make that obviously 6 wins and bring a game back to the Oval, the Adelaide Oval. It's looking good for Port. So I've put them down anyway, as I've said in my predictions video. Port, and then Hawks versus Melbourne at the Giants Stadium. I put Hawks down for the win. I think they're a better team than Melbourne. But you know what? Anything can happen in that game. Hawks' form's not been great. It's all over the place as well. They're off the back of 2 defeats going into it. Melbourne did actually win last week. So hopefully for them and their fans, they will actually most behind scored in an AFL match. That is absolutely ridiculous, mate. But back to the Ben Brown situation, that's absolutely devastating news. Hopefully, I know it does sound very, very serious. His neck's broke. I don't know how badly it is. I'm only just hearing that there now, and didn't get up to date with that. So I actually like Ben Brown. Obviously, it doesn't matter if you like the guy or not. You wouldn't wish that on any player, but he's a player I've always enjoyed watching. Are Richmond back? Gay Red Shoes. Possibly. I never watched the game. Obviously, their kicking for goal was absolutely horrendous today. Judging by that, I need to actually just check this out myself. That's mental, mate. Can't get my head around that one. Somebody's pulling my leg there, aren't they? Toys man's absolutely pulling my leg. It's 11-11, 11-11, 77 to 2-11-23, but 22 behind's not too bad. Richmond, are they back? I honestly don't know. I mean, from what I've watched of them, they've not been convincing, but I never watched today's game to see. It could have just been a good game. A bit of controversy going on here. Somebody's pulling my wire because I never actually watched the game. No mention of it here, so obviously that's not true at all. So I'll just ignore his comments now. I was going to say, Gary, excuse me, you need to get me your address. Message me through Patreon, mate. Message me through Patreon. I'll give you to give me your address, mate. I'm sending you a gift over. So I look forward to getting your address there for that one, mucker. Also, if any of you are on my Donfellas AFL. No bother, mucker. I was going to say, if anybody's on my AFL, the Donfellas AFL Facebook group, we're doing a little bit of an AFL lotto there. Still only just starting to sell the... I see that, mate. Name them, Max. Name them, mate. Name them, and we'll sort it. What was I going to say to you? So, I'm actually going to be doing an AFL lotto over there. Details of it will all be in the actual page, and I'm also obviously on my Donfather's Facebook page as well. So if you want to go on the actual Facebook page and not the AFL group, you'll see details there if you're interested in taking part in the AFL lotto. I think I've sold a couple of places just now so far. I'm aiming for 50 to start up with a lotto, 1 to 50. Pick a ball or pick a number, 1 to 50, and then the prizes. Once we do a number generator, we'll do it all live, of course, and legitimate. And so you can see if you win. So good luck if you want to do that. It's just something to do. So that was the Hawks versus Melbourne, Giant Stadium on Sunday. And Freo West Coast Eagles, the big one, Western Australia, the derby. At the Optus, I don't know how many fans are going to be in attendance. I'm actually looking forward to this one because, well, Nat 5's out, isn't it? I've read he's out, so that's disappointing for Freo. Both teams going into this very, very identical form. 2 wins in a row, but 3 losses before that. So I actually think the team that's probably playing a little bit better going into this would be the West Coast Eagles, and you would argue that they have the better team as well, but they have been underachieving. So hopefully it's a good game anyway. I'm looking forward to it. Shuey's out. Paxton. Did not hear that one, mate. As I say, I'm not up to date with the actual story. Tim Hefty, mate. Tim, to answer your question, you will actually get the game's US channels, obviously. US Fox Sports 1 or Fox Sports 2. And also, I believe they sometimes air them on the soccer channel. Don't quote me on that one. That might not be true. Fox Sports Soccer. But if not, I've also heard that ESPN's bought a few rights to the AFL in America as well, so they'll be televising it on those channels. There is other ways, of course, to watch the footy, but it's up to you to check that out. I can't really say it on a live stream. Obviously, stuff's getting mentioned here that's not very nice, so that one is going to be removed because it's not a nice comment, mate. I'm sorry, just watch what you're saying. Thanks, Max. I seen that there, and that was a really terrible thing to be coming out with, and I don't condone any of that sort of comments on the channel, particularly with the situation for the player that was just mentioned there. Really tough time, so don't fucking talk nonsense like that. Crows versus St Kilda then at the Adelaide Oval. Last game. Predicted a Saints win because how could you not? 6 straight defeats for the Crows. Could they smash records on how many games they get beat in a row? I think there's a lot of trolling going on here. AFL trolling trying to catch me out. So I'm not going to really respond to a lot of the comments now. So they're ruining it for other people. I need my moderator to sort this out. See, I can't confirm the stuff when I've not got the actual news by my side now. So obviously everybody's adamant about Ben Brown, but I've not seen one thing about Ben Brown. I'm just going to fucking Google him. It'll be quicker. Exactly, Max, mate. Here we go. Right. Well, if there was anything as big as that story, then it would have popped up straight away, so it's bullshit. All right, mate. Cheers, Tim, for letting me know. Yes, Mark. I did see that. Situation for him, but what somebody had said about it was not nice. You know what I mean? So, anyway, getting back to the Crows thing. 6 games they've lost. St Kilda, they're going to win, and that's just that. So that's round 7 so far. Hope you've enjoyed the footy. I did watch some of Thursday, Friday. Obviously, the first game on Saturday today, the Giants versus the Lions, which was a really, really good game. Actually, and I'll tell you something. Boom, you're gone. That's one person gone. So if anybody else wants blocked completely from the channel, that's fine. Just shitpost one more time, and then we'll block you. because I want to be able to enjoy the live stream, and I'm sure people who follow the channel want to be able to enjoy the live stream. Cardman, mate, Cardman, you're going to tell me the truth here. What's the story on Ben Brown? I'm not up to date, but I did not watch the game today. Is that bullshit? They're saying he's broke his neck. And as I said, who's Paxton? He's gone. He's deleted. He will not be on the channel again. Paxton. No mention. So there's nothing wrong with Ben Brown. Aye, so gone. They've also said something terrible about whoever it was that said the thing about Gary Ablett Jr.'s son will be gone. I'll need to flick through it. You'll be blocked from the channel. I can't condone crap stuff like that. Absolutely disgraceful. I want to be able to enjoy the live stream, as do the people. And when I'm trying to read the stuff and talk to people, obviously trolls are coming in. I don't have my moderator here, so it's a bit more difficult for me to concentrate on it when I'm having to do it myself. I know the moderator boy, if he was on it, I would just say it and he'd start to blocking it, and I could just watch through read through the comments and answer questions and talk to you all. Hi, Jordan, mate. I'm good. Thanks very much. Hope you're well. Max didn't watch the game either, but could not find a single thing. So you've all checked and you're not seeing anything either. I just Googled it. There's nothing popped up. He's fine. Lions are the sport reactions. Thanks very much for that comment, mate. Lions are the best team in the comp. Well, after beating Port quite convincingly on the day last week. It was last week, yes. But the week before, sorry. I would probably argue that they possibly are the best team in the competition, especially the way they played today as well. They're definitely adding strength to that argument, aren't they? Port Adelaide aren't too far away as well. I think they should beat Carlton. I don't know what kind of Carlton will turn up tomorrow, but I think Port are flying. It'll be an enjoyable game to watch. I think both teams will try and play footy. Young lad Jack Martin at Carlton, really enjoying him. Mitch McGovern's playing well. Levi Casbolt's playing well. Eddie Betts is chipping in with goals there. So many players at Carlton's enjoyable right now, but let's see what Port's got for them. I've been disappointed. Xavier Dersma was a player at Port I wanted to see a bit more of this year. He's had that injury. He's been out for a wee while, so so Ken Hinckley may keep his job by the end of the season, and actually I was jumping onto it. Yeah. Just reading some of the stuff there. Sorry. I think last year I was thinking, he has to go, doesn't he? Surely he can't keep his job now, but like come on, the fuck. That's that done. Annoying. Don't know what it is about this live stream. Maybe people's been on the drink. Yep. Tell you what, it wouldn't even use his real. It doesn't have a real picture. Doesn't have a real name. Yes, Mark, that is actually. I did read that earlier. It's actually really devastating news, and I knew that before he had travelled. But then we've seen the images of his son in the hospital, which was it's heartbreaking. You never want to see a child like that. And he's obviously decided the best thing's to go back and be with his family and the wee man. So I hope our thoughts go out to them all, the Ablett family. Jordan, mate, I'm on 3 from 5. Not brilliant. Not bad. Pretty disappointed with the Geelong Collingwood one, because I actually thought Geelong would do that. And Swans Gold Coast Suns could have went either way. It was a very, very good game of footy from some of the stuff that I've seen. What if AFL were to go international and there would be teams in America? Cruise in Switzerland, Swans. Well, there actually is JDM Games 444. There actually is teams all over the place. But in terms of the standard what you've got in Australia, they're absolutely nowhere near it. But the game is being played. It's actually quite a big league in America. There's quite a lot of teams in Europe as well. Ireland has quite a decent league. And I'd imagine quite a lot of them have played a bit of GAA as well. So they shouldn't be too bad footy players, you know. So the game is there, but obviously you're not getting anywhere near the same sort of attention as the Australian game. But it would be nice to see maybe some sort of international team get to play against an Australian select as well, you know, just for a one-off friendly type game rather than just Ireland for the international rules. It'd be good to see a British team, maybe a bit of a small, light-hearted tournament, but it's just trying to fit in a time that suits, I suppose, the AFL and the players, etc. Went for the pies. All right. Most overrated team at the moment. Overrated. That's a difficult question because I don't know about overrated as such, but I would say underwhelming team so far has probably been a toss-up between Richmond and Collingwood based on how big the clubs are. Giants as well. There's another one being underwhelming. I don't know about overrated. Overrated. I don't know if anybody's doing anything where you would say that question's probably been better being asked halfway through the competition, maybe a little bit further than halfway through the competition, because it'll be when they get to the business end and they're trying to keep their top 8 spot when everybody's been blowing smoke up their arse for several weeks. We'll see how they handle the pressure of trying to hold on to the top 8 spots for finals footy. That'll be the telling sign on who's overrated or not. But there's so many teams kind of on a similar standard so far this year. It's quite a difficult question to answer, but underwhelming, probably based on where they are in the ladder and how they're playing it. Probably the Giants have been quite a big drop from last year, so underwhelming the Giants. Cardman, Gold Coast might be the most overrated, even though they are playing really good footy. The thing about the Gold Coast argument is I wouldn't say many people are actually rating them as a good side, but they're enjoying watching them. I, for one, am enjoying watching them, but I'm still realistic. That's why I put them down for the defeat today, but they proved me wrong. But I'm still realistic about who the team are, where they've been, and where they've still to get to be able to be considered rated, if you like. So I actually think they're playing really nice stuff as well, mate. So I agree with you on that front. I would actually play a little bit of it, mate, but it's away up in Belfast, which is about a 45-minute drive up and then another 45-minute drive back after the footy's played. The training's up there in the same place as well, so it's quite a bit of a drive for me to do it, obviously, and then I get up early from my work. If there'd been a team, there's supposed to be a team getting made near me, probably about 15 minutes away. I would possibly give them a go. If that actually does develop into a footy team, I'll give it a go. I think I'd be slow enough if I played, but I think I'd be strong enough, you know, to get stuck in with the hits and all the rest of the other side. I think kicking, I would certainly improve. And I think you kick better when you're not thinking about it too much as well. So in a game, I'd probably kick a hell of a lot better than when I'm actually just standing there doing training drills. I always think when it's just instinctive, it's a little bit more easier to do these things. Subconscious, you're just boom, 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 you're getting on with it. So I would be confident I wouldn't be too bad, actually. JDM games, nice question. What game would I most like to watch? Well, actually, obviously, I want to see the Bulldogs. We're going to be going to Adelaide as well. I'm going to go to the Adelaide Oval, see a few games down there, hopefully as well, or a couple of games at least, and then just go around the stadiums in Melbourne in a couple of weeks. We'll be there, try and fit in as many games as we can. I would love to visit though during Anzac week and go for the Collingwood Essendon matchup at the MCG, because obviously being a veteran myself, I would love to see the whole sort of celebrations you do and the remembrance stuff that you put on for the servicemen and women in Australia, Australia and New Zealand, obviously Anzacs, but I certainly want to see all the remembrance side of the parades and that you're doing down there before the game and the whole build up to that, because it's actually quite a impressive display gets put on. I know there's a couple of days that the AFL commit to that, just around that. The day before is quite big as well, I believe. So I would probably like to see that game the most out of every game, just purely because it's footy, it's at the MCG, it's two big clubs, and it's Anzac Day being probably the most important thing. I would probably rather see Anzac Day than the grand final. That's insane maybe to you all, but it's just because of my military background as well. So I just think it's great the way the AFL do that. I reckon the player Shane Crawford. I'm not too sure, mate, who I resemble. If I had the speed of Papley, I'd like to think I'd be a small forward. I would have in soccer. I would have always been centre midfield, box to box, running about, doing all the running. And when I was in the army, I was probably one of the best runners in my regiment as well. So running was always a good thing. I'd cover a lot of ground easily, but if I could have a little bit more speed, maybe I could probably go further forward and be a bit of a small forward and score goals. But maybe somebody a little bit deeper than that on the footy field, getting stuck in. I like to get stuck in and tackle. That would be a big part of my game. Definitely. Like the rougher stuff. Yeah, I've seen the dawn service, Max. It looks brilliant. And actually, this year was quite nice, even though it never happened the way it would usually happen. Seeing everybody going out into the front yard and having candles lit in remembrance was really, really nice to see. And then the lone bugler in the middle of the MCG with no crowd there was quite nice as well in its own way. I know you'd be used to seeing these things happening in front of a full house, but there was something really hard hitting about that. Not only because of the pandemic, but because if you actually think about how many service personnel have not come home from conflicts that could have probably fitted into the MCG more than once, and they're not with us. So it was just, I thought of that, how many people would have died fighting for their country, defending their country, and could have filled that whole stadium and are not with us today. So it was quite fitting in some respects to have the bugler in there in an empty stadium, and I thought it was nice actually. Hello, LMC team. You're waving or something at me there. Oh, there's another prick. I had to delete somebody else there because that's obviously the boy that's thought it was nice to joke about Gary Ablett's situation. It's not, and I won't condone that sort of talk. Very immature and quite provocative as well. So, removed. I'm not Mitchell Money. Nice request. I'm wondering, have I done it though? I've done over like 200 200 or 300 AFL videos since I've been doing the sport. So off memory, I might have actually done that. Do search the channel to see if I've done it. If not, I'll maybe give it a look because it rings a bell. JDM Games, 100,000 subs. I'm coming to yours anyway, mate. It's just affordability at this point. I'm not putting my personal money into the trip. I'm putting all the channel money that's done. So my wife wouldn't let me save the money when we've got so many other bills to pay. But she says if you want to go, you use all your channel money you get, and then we can go. So it's sort of a self-funded trip through the channel. So donations that come through, anything that comes through doing AFL content is going to the AFL trip. There's not a single penny I'm going to be keeping for myself, if you like. It's going to be coming to the AFL trip. That's through advertisement from the channel. That's through patrons, donations, all that sort of thing. Any extra funds is going straight to the pot. So that's what it is. But 100,000 subs, I'm hoping to hit 100,000 subs. I'd like to do it by the end of the year, but I doubt that will happen. Maybe halfway through next year, I'll be 100,000 subs, and I'll get my my plaque from YouTube. I think, Max, when you talk about Body returning to Hawthorn, it's like Eddie Betts returning to Kelton, isn't it? Even though you'd argue Body, the amount that he'd won there, it might be an even bigger deal than Eddie Betts. But Eddie Betts is, of course, a player I absolutely admire and love watching. I'm enjoying seeing him score goals at Kelton. He seems happy playing his footy there. The fans love him. They idolise him. So a little bit like I'd imagine Hawthorn fans with Body. It would be good to see him have one last rodeo, if you like. All right, Mark, mate. Good luck. See you later, mate. Yes, Jordy, mate. Well, possibly that could be the case. I've actually had that discussion with other people before, and recently about Essendon, and yeah, when they win, they don't seem to win by huge margins, do they? They do seem to just get the job done. But last night they've maybe just been found out, or Friday, sorry, yeah, they've been found out by Bulldogs on the day anyway. But I'm sure Essendon will still get wins. It's one of those things. They are one of those teams. They are. They would it'd probably be quite frustrating being an Essendon fan because you're getting the wins, but you're not. It's not convincing. They don't fill you with much confidence either. That they're a little bit better than average. I would say they're probably about 8th, 9th, 10th place team. The way they're playing right now, in and around that point, fighting for the bottom, the 8th spot, if you like. I see them as a club there. I couldn't really see them above that, and I think time will tell that will be the case. I think I kind of agree with that one. Maybe a little bit overrated, purely down to the fact that when they're getting their wins, it's not been as convincing as other teams. But neither's Collingwood. You've got to look at Collingwood. What have they done really that's blew anybody away? They've been low scoring. I think the difference with Collingwood is their defence has been absolutely incredible. They're keeping everybody else low scoring as well. So I don't think Collingwood's really turned up, and I don't think Richmond's really turned up yet. But you're seeing signs of them possibly and threatening to show up, but just haven't done so yet. Shane, mate, fellow Bulldoggy, fellow doggy, do a reaction to Terry Wallace. I'll spew up speech after Bulldogs loss. It's amazing to watch. Completely blow up at a group of players, still finish with positivity. Absolutely brilliant, mate. I will do that. I'll check that out. Dion Presty as a player at Mitchell Money, I really, really enjoy watching. I'll certainly check him out. I don't think I've covered him yet, but I do actually really enjoy watching him when he's playing. Obviously, he's out now, isn't he? Max, interesting question. Do you think that VFL titles should not count towards AFL titles? So, like when people say Geelong have 8 titles, is actually 3. Well, Yeah, that's the case, I think, because if you're going to do that, you have to go around every state league and add their trophies on, and then you wouldn't have a Victoria team actually most successful team in Australia. But certainly recognise the achievements in the VFL era, but it's no longer VFL era, it's the AFL era. So who's going to be on the most? Who's going to be on the least? Some teams haven't won it, whatever. But I don't genuinely believe that if you're going to change it to a national competition, I think it should only be counted as the trophies won then as a national competition and not a state competition. If Port Adelaide are actually the most successful, aren't they? And then obviously they've won that in 2004 as well. They've got a chance of winning it in 2020 and their 150th year anniversary. And an interesting fact was for every team that was top on round one on a leap year, they've went on to win it in the last 5 or 6 years, or the last 5 or 6 leap years. Strange stat. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm nearly sure that was the stat I seen. For every team that's beaten, maybe it was 4 or 5. Yeah, that's true. So every team that's been top in round one on a leap year for the last 4 or 5 years, whatever X amount of, it's been several, have went on to win the flag. So it's looking good for Port. They're doing really well. Tomorrow they have a chance to make it 6 wins from 7, and then they're going home to Adelaide Oval. Dare to dream, Port fans, on your 150th year. And if that is the case, then they're by far the most successful team, aren't they? So it's up to VFL fans. Do they want it to be counted? Because they wouldn't have a representation as the most successful then. So I think if you're going to do it, it has to be the AFL. But look, I'm an outsider to this whole debate. It is predominantly made up of VFL teams, but I think you still kissed that title away when you made it a national competition. Everybody loves the national competition. I really, really love it. I love the fact that you've got teams coming from here, there, and everywhere playing each other. Massive country like Australia. Why wouldn't you use it? Why wouldn't you go and play games out in Perth? Fantastic. So, like, it is what it is. I'll leave that debate to everybody else. Port could keep dreaming, mate. I think they would love to see it being recognised. I don't think you can call Carlton the most successful team. I think they got the most. Have they got the most VFLs? Carlton, would I be right in saying that? You can't call Carlton the most successful team in the AFL, can you? When they've not been, but they might have been in VFL. Would that be true? Without recognising Port, it's a non-starter debate for me. AFL, whenever it's been AFL from the AFL years, that's what you count it from. So who's your most successful team? Is it Hawthorn? Equal with Essendon. There you go. Both have won 18. I knew Carlton had won 18, but I'd forgot that Essendon had somewhat similar. Where would that? Nice question, Travis. This to me isn't even a debate. My answer on this one, I think it just makes the most perfect sense. When you look at Geelong and Collingwood getting 22,000 supporters in the Optus, it just simply has to be the Optus. There's going to possibly be 60,000 there ready for grand final day. It has to be there, regardless of who's playing. It's a beautiful stadium. It's a big footy field. It's going to be better attended than any other ground, probably. Maybe Adelaide Oval will possibly be able to have a full capacity as well. But although the Optus is about 5,000 seats greater in size than Adelaide Oval, to my knowledge. So as long as that's happening, it has to be the Optus for me. What do I think about the Man City UEFA controversy? We're changing on to soccer here. That's from Michael Fessy. I think it's a disgrace, mate. Obviously, I'm supporting Scottish club, and our ability to keep up with the English big boys with the money they've got is so far gone now. It's incredible. We're nowhere near them financially, and you rely on any money that you get from getting into Europe to be able to buy better players and improve. And the way the whole system's working now is to try and keep the smaller countries out and get maximum teams from bigger leagues like England, Germany, Italy, Spain, get 3-4 teams. And the competition is actually called the Champions League. And that was based on the champions of each domestic league in Europe playing against each other. Well, you went through qualifying, and then whoever got into the sort of the last amount of teams, they were all champions of each league. But now it's like, it's not the Champions League anymore. It's just the rich league. It's the league for the teams that play in the rich leagues, playing against each other and making as much money as possible. Man City broke the rules. Man City should be banned. Anybody else would be banned, but Man City can afford to cough up backhanders. I'm pretty sure that's what's happened there. I think the world's pretty sure that's what's happened there. And it's totally against sporting integrity. So Manchester City, a nothing club with 0 fans, brilliant football team, lovely fucking football team, great manager. Don't get me wrong, fantastic to watch. But the club has no history other than what they've bought. They've no fan base. Nobody watches them. Nobody would have watched them prior to having money. They were down the divisions at one point. Nobody gave a shit about them. They were in the dregs of the soccer world. Q an Arab owner, and then boom, there they are. Champions League, Premier Leagues, FA Cups. Like, don't get me wrong, on the footy field they're fantastic to watch, but that has not been built through years of success, hard graft. A loyal fan base backing them to the hilt. That has been bought by Arab oil owners, and that's how they've come about that. So I think it's a disgrace that they've been able to overturn that potential European ban. But it just goes to show the way how corrupt UEFA is and what the way football or soccer is going. And it's not enjoyable anymore. It's sold its soul a long time ago, particularly down south in England. It's the rich man's league, isn't it? Yeah, well, a lot of sports money is controlling absolutely everything. Quite a lot of sports in America as well. I know their sports are huge amounts of money. Just after seeing an NFL player receiving a contract of over, was it 10-year period? 10-year period, $503 million dollars in a 10-year contract is insane. $50 odd million a season, a year for playing American football is insane. That, you know, so certainly going that way in a lot of big sports. It is the super clubs every time. And the frustrating thing for me is supporting a Scottish club, and I can even include the Old Firm, our fierce rivals. And I'll give both teams credit for their fan bases are global. They're huge footballing institutions. Their stadiums are amazing. They've got great histories of success and winning. But obviously the way the money's been brought into the game, it's left us behind. And it's very, very frustrating that because of money, we can't attract the players that our club should have playing for us, given the size and the history of them. If these clubs played in England in the English Premier League, the Old Firm, generating that same sort of money and that same global fan base that they have, they would be right up there with your Liverpool's, Manchester United's in no time. But look, it's never going to happen. It's a pipe dream. It's never going to happen. Why would English football want 2 Scottish troublemaker teams that they probably would struggle to police because of their huge travelling fan bases? Could you imagine probably 10, 15,000 Rangers Celtic fans travelling down to England, even if they don't have a ticket, just going into the towns and taking over the towns like they do every week in Scotland? They wouldn't know what hit them. There would probably be potential trouble everywhere that was went. But when Rangers and Celtic go to a town, whether they're in Europe or in Scotland in the Scottish League, they simply take over the town, not just the stadium. They're absolutely massive clubs, but we've been left behind by the fact that we are geographically north of a border. Manchester, Liverpool, 2 huge footballing cities in England, but industry-wise are like Scotland. They're very undesirable places up north in England, aren't they? Considered if you base it next to the sort of London, how many companies want to invest in London? All the money in England gets spent down south, and those cities in right next to the Scottish border, Manchester and Liverpool, right near the Scottish border, actually are home of some of the greatest football teams the world's ever seen. But they're just a little bit south of the border, and we are just north. And because of that border, the money, that's that. But we'll never have a British league because they don't want us. We want to go down there because we want to compete and we want the money. We want to buy the best players and we want to cheer on the best players in the world playing for us. But it's never going to be the case. Which English club has the best fan base? In England, based on away travelling support, it's Leeds United, in my opinion. But global fan base, Manchester United and Liverpool's got to be not too far behind them. Arsenal are a big club. That's probably about it. But actually, for real hardcore fans that support their club, I would probably argue Leeds United. And while they're back in the Premier League, I'm absolutely delighted for Leeds. That's a Premier League club there. It's a city that deserves to be in the Premier League. But I'm just going back to hardcore fans that will travel all over the place. I mean, all over the country, and there are thousands. I think one of the only teams is Leeds. Leeds are a huge rugby town as well. Rugby league, absolutely massive rugby league. The Leeds Rhinos. But Leeds are a passionate sports city. They actually have two huge follow-ons for the Rhinos and Leeds United in the soccer and the football. Football and rugby mad actually in that city. Bailey Smith for Western Bulldogs looks like a wrestler named Brian Pillman Jr. with the mullet and the side shave. Bailey Smith, Tim, mate, is an absolutely cracking young player. I've got high hopes for him. I think he's a potential Brownlow medalist in the making, to be honest with you. I think he's having a fantastic season so far. He started up where he finished off last year, but I think he's arguably one of the best young players in the league right now. Really enjoy him, and I'm glad he's playing for the Bulldogs. Why does soccer have gang culture? I don't know why it started down south, but obvious reasons in Scotland. It's is far more deep rooted than that in Scotland. But down in England, the hooligan culture, I don't know why it started, but it did. I don't know. I don't know why it started. Definitely tribal. Maybe if you're like Liverpool doesn't like Manchester, regardless. The two cities don't like each other, regardless of the teams. And then Leeds people probably don't like folk from Manchester as well. So you've got a bit of rivalry just in cities alone, never mind. And then Newcastle was one of the most dangerous places to go as well. So I don't know why it started. Obviously, we all know stories about other places as well. It's just part of the. It's just been. It is actually. I must admit, it is definitely a lot more family orientated now than what it was when I was young going to the games, because you would have had a lot more hostile atmosphere. There was a lot more things being shouted that you probably wouldn't get away with now as well, which is considered completely not politically correct. So, yeah. Not enough goals, anxiety builds up too much. I'm just used to it, so Scotland, because we're hooligans. Maybe we are, mate. I don't know. Oh, you are kidding me. Michael Fessy, you better be telling the truth, mate. You better be telling the truth. Terence Crawford has called out, I presume you meant to say Josh Taylor, probably one of my favourite boxers. I'm sure Scotland knows him as well. He's from the East Coast there. Preston Pans, just outside Edinburgh. One of my favourite fighters. I believe he needs to make the step up in weight and take on Terence Crawford. That is where the money is. But he's took a 2-bit fight from some Eastern European fella, I think. I was really disappointed in the fight, but it might make sense given the whole COVID thing that he blows off a few cobwebs, gets a wee fight in it. And I want him to actually unify that weight division, win every belt in it, and just go, do you know what? I'm vacating my belts, moving up a division and fighting Terence Crawford or Errol Spence Jr. or somebody like that. That Ramirez is a good fighter too. Could Taylor beat Ramirez or Crawford? Oh, mate, I would love to see it, but I really don't know. Those are two... They are two world-class fighters, aren't they? I would love it. I would absolutely love it, but it could be a bridge too far. At the end of the day, he needs to do it. Boxers have a short career. They're like in a lot of sports, but particularly in boxing, they really put their bodies on the line to entertain people. It is a short career. They do deserve the money because the money they generate for the sport far outweighs what they actually get paid. So I'd like to see him move up that weight division into the sort of bigger names in boxing, if you like, and he'll get pay packets he probably deserves. So I would love to see that, mate. That would be brilliant. Do you think so, mate? He's ducking Errol Spence Jr. He probably is. Good luck, Max. Thanks very much for joining. It was good chatting to you, mate. Yeah, I would say so, mate. It's going to be a tough one. I'd love to see the fight, even if he got beat. Like, he's getting a fight that he probably deserves in terms of how hard he's worked. He had a glistening amateur career, Josh Taylor. He's got in some respects, his amateur career. He's fought every type of fighter there is in the business. I think he had about 200 amateur fights, something absolutely ridiculous. Obviously, he was a Commonwealth gold medalist. He's went on into the professional fighting world and just really took it by storm in such a short space of time. He is a little bit older, but I think that little bit more age is going to work well for him if he does ever fight somebody as good as Crawford. A single dictatorship. I presume you mean like they have to fight each other. I think they should always have to fight each other. The best should fight the best. I think a lot of people would not like the style of Tyson Fury, but there's one thing you've got to say for Tyson Fury: he'll fight anyone, anywhere, any time. He'll fight them. So I quite like that about him. He wasn't shy in taking on the Wilder fight. Of course, they've got their third fight planned. I'd love to see him fight Joshua and beat Joshua. I think he's a better boxer than Joshua. I couldn't ever see in a month of Sundays Ruiz beating Tyson Fury the way he beat Joshua. So I think it would be, I wouldn't say an easy fight for Fury to beat Joshua, but I certainly think I would be very, very surprised if he didn't beat him. So I do agree. I do think the best in the business should have to fight each other. I don't think they should be allowed to avoid each other to try and increase the pay packet. Get the fight on. Actually, also in boxing, the multiple belts you have, WBA, WBC, bloody lineal, all these belts, I would just like to see one belt for one weight class. And that is it. If you're the world champion, you're the world champion. There's not, oh, he's a world champion, but they're the same weight. It doesn't make sense. You're the world champion because you fought the best in the division. You beat them. You're now the world champion. You don't have 5 world champions. It's ridiculous. Usyk, I think Usyk could be a star at heavyweight. I really hope he could because he was an incredible. What's the weight division called now? I don't know. They change the names all the time. It's incredible cruiserweight, wasn't it? Or is it light heavyweight they call it now? I don't know if they've changed it. They're changing the weight names all the time. I really liked him. He was really, really, really fast hands, Usyk. I feel that he's probably a bit too small for some of the higher end fighters in the heavyweight division because they're all freaks. They're all massive. But I would certainly like to see him do well. He's a fighter I'll enjoy watching. Tim, do I follow MLS at all? Columbus Crew had a good game last night. Could win the tournament. I actually don't really follow it, mate, but I have watched it on and off, like some games here and there and highlights. But as far as following a team, I actually don't do that. But I would probably check it out, to be honest with you. There's some really good players over in America, some good American players as well, which teams seem to get overlooked. Obviously, it's a place where a lot of European players or Brazilian, South American players like to go in the latter stage of their career, get a good pay packet and have a nice quality of life, beaches, etc., and just chill out. But I certainly think there's a few gems in that league that are there for unearthing, for coming over to Europe. Some good American players that could be there. Exactly, mate. Scott, mate, absolutely. Bounced up, took an unbelievable shot and bounced up. He's got a granite chin. I actually think Joshua's got a bit of a glass chin as well. And Matt Polster, he went to Revolution, didn't he? £300,000, I think that deal was. I felt sorry for him in a way because he never really got a chance as such, but he's playing in a position that our captain's playing in, who at times is a bomb scare himself. Right back, he's one of those players, chalk and cheese. Sometimes you like him, sometimes you don't, the right back. So I think Polster's not done anything wrong. He's just obviously moved on. It suited him and the club, and he's left. Juicy Pancakes, what are your thoughts on Brisbane? The Brisbane Lions, I think, have been fantastic. Probably just a little bit better than Port, obviously, because they beat Port in the head-to-head, I'm saying that. But in terms of, obviously, form from the two teams, there's not a lot between them as such. Obviously, Port's still at the top of the ladder there on percentages, I think it is at this point. And obviously, they have the game in hand, so it's between Port and the Lions right now is the best two teams, isn't it? But I might call it an end to the live stream. I've got a wee bit of water. I'm starting to get a bit of a headache, actually, with the light. For anybody who's following the Donfathers AFL group on Facebook, or following the Donfather on Facebook or Instagram, my page for the Don's channel, I'm doing an AFL for AFL fans here, or even if you just want to enter for the chance of winning cash. I'm doing a lotto. Pick a number between like 1 and 50. It's about $10 a ball, and then you win cash prize, or you can also win a prize of your choice. If it's, you get you a voucher for your footy team that you support at to the same price of what the cash prize would be, if that was something you'd prefer rather than money. But check them out if you want to enter that. There's still balls, a lot of balls available. I've only just launched it today. I don't know if it'll even get going. I'm not going to take any payments until we're at least halfway there to the target number that I want to do the draw with. I did say I want 1 to 50. But if you keep your numbers low, if you do want to do it, if you keep your numbers low, then I can do the generator a wee bit better. I'm going to do the generator live on probably Facebook, and then contact the winner if they're not watching it live for the prize. I'm actually going to be doing it, so say it's $10, 1 to 50, 50 numbers, $400 winning. You'll be like, well, that's $100 of a difference. The reason why I'm doing it that way is because I'm actually going to do it. Prizes go up as the players go up, and the pot goes up, if you know what I mean. So there's going to be money extra in a pot, an overflow pot. I'm going to do it that way. I think it'll be better. It'll attract more people if the winnings are bigger. So if that is actually something people are interested, do check it out. Do contact me through Facebook on the Donfather page, or Instagram, or if you're on the Donfathers AFL group as well, then do that. But anyone can play. Cash prize if you like. You don't need to be picking AFL merchandise of your team if you don't want to. All right, folks, so I'm going to call it a day. Thanks very much for joining. Really appreciate the chat. Good games of footy tomorrow. I'm looking forward to watching them. I'll give a bit of a review, and then obviously I'll go over all the footy games over this weekend, round 7, and keep you updated. So thanks again, everyone. Actually, I will say before I go, I did do loudest AFL crowd moments, video 1. That's actually part of a 3-video series, I think. So I've downloaded video number 2, and I'm going to do that as well. You only have 2 tips. I have 3 this week so far from the 5. So it's not been brilliant for many people, I don't think. But anyway, so yes, that'll be coming in terms of AFL reactions. Going to do crowd 2 and 3 moments. And for Tim, I know you follow the NHL as well, mate. I'll be doing a lot of NHL reactions. Somebody asked me to do another one of another sport, but I just can't remember off the top of my head. I've got a huge backlog in reactions, and the thing about reactions is they take a hell of a lot more time to set up than a normal video if I'm just talking and explaining stuff. I'm currently reading this book as well for NHL fans, anybody that likes ice hockey as well, or hockey as it's better known. Playing with Fire, Theon Fleury. He was a player that played mostly. He spent the best part of his career at the Calgary Flames, but he's played at other teams as well, such as the New York Rangers, obviously Canada as well, where he got Olympic gold success. But his story so far, let me tell you, is absolutely what a hard life he's had. But so far, I'm really enjoying the book, and I'm not much of a book reader, but so far, I'm really, really enjoying the book. So I'm going to do a review on that once I'm finished as well. Thanks very much, everyone, and I'll talk to you all soon. Goodbye. Stay safe where you are. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.